Welcome to Gourmet Fishing. I'm your host, David Murray. On today's show, it's early spring. The dogwoods are blooming, and it's time for us to get in the salt marsh creeks and catch some red drum. Now, this time of the year, water temperatures are rising. Those large, massive winter schools of red drum are splintering into smaller schools, and they're coming into creeks looking for something to eat. And that's where we come into the picture. Now, we're going to be working some man-made structure, some natural structure with a GFSC rig with a snelled circle hook baited with a Moomichog. So don't go away. And that's right, you heard me. I said Moomichog. So when we come back, I'm going to introduce you to the GFSC rig and get you up close and personal with the Moomichog. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. Before I introduce you to the Moomichog, we need to take a look at our rig. The GFSC rig consists of a bobber stop knot, which you can buy at the store. It comes with a little small bead, and that prevents the cork from sliding up. Then we have a 3/8 ounce egg sinker, and this is a size 12 barrel swivel tied from the main line with a Palomar knot. Then our monofilament leader is also tied to the swivel with a Palomar knot, and a snelled circle hook. This is a Gamakatsu 1/0 octopus circle hook. Now, let me get you up close and personal with the Moomichog. Come right down here. We'll grab one. A Moomichog is nothing more than a mud minnow. We've all used them. Just a neat name, something a little different, something you can use when you're talking with your buddies. Now, I hook mine from the top lips down through both lips. So let's go fishing. You know, working structure, whether it's natural or man-made, is key in producing hookups. So don't fight the current, use it. You know, I'll anchor my boat up current and away from my targeted structure so that the current can naturally work the bait toward the structure. I'll cast my rig toward my targeted structure and then slowly pull it away from that target and let the current work it back for me. Now I'll do this multiple times before choosing another target. The area that we're fishing today is north of Charleston, South Carolina, and they're called the racks. Not sure why they're called the racks, but as you can see, there are numerous pipes, PVC pipes. We've got reinforcing rod, we've got metal rods. There are even crab traps that have been strategically placed to draw fish. And over time, the oysters and the barnacles have built up, creating a nice little safe haven for bait. And anytime you've got bait, structure, and current, you're gonna have predators, and that's what we're after, the predators. Oh, damn, there he is. All right, fish on. See what this is. Got a little pull, What do we got? What do we have? Breaking the water. Oh, there we are. A little red drum. Yes, sir. Show us your tail. Right. Come on over here. There we are, right in the corner of the mouth. That's what I like about a circle hook. Nice. There he is. Got 2 spots on one side, 1 on the other. Pretty little fish, ain't he? He's going in the cooler and heading out to the outdoor kitchen. Now, an adult red drum will mature between 3 and 5 years old. The males will be, around 28 inches in length, and the females, well, they're close to 33 inches in length. You may be asking yourself, why am I not using a popping cork? Now, I've used them. We'll do a show in the future with popping corks, but what I like about the sliding cork rig is that it allows me to manipulate the depth of my bait as the tide comes in and goes out. With a popping cork, you're gonna have to retie your leader, you can lengthen it, or you can have to shorten it. The sliding cork rig, all you have to do is move that little knot up and down, and that gets your bait right back in the strike zone. Let's talk about the leader material that I'm using today. We've got stained water here in South Carolina, so I'm using 25-pound, just plain monofilament leader. Now, if I was in clear water, let's say in South Florida, the Bahamas, or even up north where the water's clear, I would definitely spend the money and use the fluorocarbon. The fluorocarbon has a composition that makes it disappear when the sun's shining. It's just like magic. I'm not quite sure what it is. But right here, I'm just using plain, regular monofilament leader. Stained water equals monofilament, clear water equals fluorocarbon. It's believed that the spot on the spot of a red drum is to help fool predators into thinking that the tail is actually the head, and this aids the red drum in escaping during an attack. Red drums with no spots, they're fairly uncommon, and our dinner guest, well, that's a very unique guest indeed. All right, this is another one going in the cooler, and he's going back to the outdoor kitchen with us for blackened redfish and red rice. So stay tuned, we'll be right back. Hey, welcome to what I call Murray Cay in the outdoor kitchen. Now, before we get started, I want to clarify the menu just a little bit. And when we were on the boat, I made this statement. All right, this is another one going in the cooler, and he's going back to the outdoor kitchen with us for blackened redfish and red rice. So stay tuned, we'll be right back. Well, that's almost correct. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to spice the menu up just a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to prepare a sesame crusted blackened red drum. We're going to serve that with a Charleston sweet red rice, and then we're going to finish the dish off with a tropical lowcountry slaw. But before we get moving, we need to come up with a cocktail. So, you know, keep the old whistle wet while we, you know, prepare everything. So I'm going to prepare what I call a Murray Cay Goombay Smash. Now, I've spent a little bit of time down in the Bahamas, the Abaco Islands actually, and each little island bar and restaurant seems to have their own variation of this Goombay, and keeping with that tradition, that's what I'm going to show you. So we're going to take 1 part white rum, 1 part dark rum, 1 part pineapple rum. Now we're going to move over and do 2 parts coconut rum, and then finish it off with 3 parts of a spice rum. And there you go, that's close enough. Now, this right here is the heart and soul of the Goombay Smash. So we need to get us a glass of ice. And this is where you can control the potency of your drink. I'm a half and half guy. You know, maybe that's one of the little demons I got to deal with. But anyway. Now, we're going to grab a little bit of grenadine for a little bit of color. Grenadine is cherry juice and pomegranate juice. And then we're going to finish it off with a little pineapple orange. And there you go. That's the Murray Cay Goombay Smash. Now, we need to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get started on the menu. So don't go away. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back. Now, we need to start on the menu. Red rice takes about 2 hours to cook in the oven. So let's go ahead and get started with that. We're going to take about 1/2 pound of bacon. We're going to chop it up into little bite-sized pieces. You know, we don't have to do anything, you know, extraordinary with it. So we're just going to cut it up in small pieces. Try not to cut ourselves. And we're going to stick it in a hot pan. All right, now we're going to cook this down such that it kind of browns on the edges. You want to keep stirring it so it doesn't stick. But while that's happening, we're going to grab us a sweet onion. I like the Vidalia onions. They don't have to be Vidalias and don't have to be sweet. But I just like the sweet onion. I'm going to peel this off like that. And then like that. Again, bite-sized pieces. We don't have to dice them or anything special. I generally make about 4 cuts on whatever size onion I'm using. I'm going to do this, and we'll just see nice little edible pieces as we go. Now, we're going to add this to our pot and cook. Now, while that's cooking, bell pepper. Cut it down just like this, and we're going to use pretty much the whole thing. Now I'm going to cut the veins and get rid of the seed pouch, and try not to cut myself. Just like that. Now, these are bitter, so I want to get as much of that out of there as I can. Well, it looks pretty good. So, again, dice, chop, bite-sized pieces. And try not to cut yourself. Add these to the pot. There we go. And stir that around. Everything's going to get nice and soft. Onion's going to caramelize a little bit. Pull that sugar out of those onions. Now we're going to let that do its thing for about 10 minutes. And again, while that's doing that, we're going to grab some kielbasa sausage. It's my preference. You can use whatever sausage you want. We're going to come down. We're going to cut right down the middle. Just like that. And again, bite-sized pieces. right, sausage is in. Now I'm going to add what makes everything happy, sugar. That's a half a cup of sugar. On top of that, about an 1/8 cup of freshly ground black pepper. Now I'm going to let this cook down for another 5 minutes. All right, now it's time to create a little bit of liquid for this so it works well with the rice. I'm going to use 2 cans or 28 ounces of chicken broth. Then I'm going to take one of my cans and I'm going to add water. So 14 ounces of water goes along with the chicken broth. And this is what brings everything together. We have 2 cans, I believe they're 12.5 ounces of tomato paste. And this is what brings everything together. Now, we need to make this a liquid. I'll break out a whisk and give it just a good old whisking, I guess you could say. And we'll break this apart and it'll turn into just a unbelievable liquid. All right, now you see how this is all kind of sort of come together and it's nice and it's not as loose as it was. So we're gonna let this cook for probably about 20 minutes and bring all those flavors together. And then we're gonna combine that with Carolina Gold rice. Go ahead. All right, it's time to bring our red rice together. It's been about 20-25 minutes. This thing's been simmering away. All the flavors are together. Now we're going to use a Carolina Gold rice. We can take 5 cups of rice. And I like to use these catering style trays. They come up with a nice little cover. Everything seems to work perfect together. All right, now we're going to take our 5 cups of rice. Now we're going to need 10 cups of liquid. That's a 2-to-1 ratio when it comes to cooking the rice. So, like I said, 5 cups, 10 cups. There's 10 cups of liquid. There's our last cup of rice. We're gonna mix this together so all the rice and all the liquid are together. Then we're gonna add a stick of butter right on top. Put the cover on and we're gonna stick it in a 375-degree oven for 2 hours. All right, finally, it's time for our red drum. I have magically filleted our fish. Isn't that cool? Anyway, we're gonna take 2 of our fillets, this side and whoop, that side, and we're going to add a little bit of flavor to them using a soy sauce based citrus seasoning called ponzu. It's you can find it at your Asian markets. It's just got a great flavor to it. So I'm going to add just a little bit on top. And we're going to get both sides, skin side and flesh side. And we're going to let that sit just for a few moments. Now, your blackening seasoning, you can buy it or you can make it. I have made mine right here. And if you check the website out, you will be able to find that recipe and every other recipe that you've seen us cook to date. And we're also using black and white roasted sesame seeds. So here we are. We've got a little bit of extra virgin coconut oil. You thought I was going to say olive oil, didn't you? Again, Asian markets, they've got it. We're going to add a little bit to our pan. We've got a good hot pan, and we're going to take some of our blackening seasoning. We're going to sprinkle both sides. Come on, there we are. Now you can coat this as thick as you want. Depends on your palate. Now I'm going to do flesh side down, away from you, so you don't get splashed. Just like this. Ooh, look at that. Smells good. And you get, not only do you get the fish flavor, you get that smell of the coconut. And it just adds a little, not aromatic flavor to it, but just good tasting flavor too. Grab a spatula, make sure it's working. It's not going to take long to cook these. They're very thin. All right, now we're going to flip it once. Look at that. Oh, look at that. I'm going to flip this guy. Yes, sirree. Check that out. Now, as the rain comes down, this is real TV. I'm going to take one, set it down. And take the other, do the same. Get a little pat. Get our oil squared back. Put them back down, inside down, inside down. We're almost there. You can see we're starting to flake a little bit. When the fish flakes, it's almost ready. All right, it's time to plate our menu. We're going to get started with our red rice. Oh, look at that. Look at there. Come on one side. You can add us some rice, just like that. Okay. Whew, look at that sausage. We got those onions, and we got some peppers. I'm going to come in with our fish. Just like this. And like this. Oh, yes, sir. Now, again, I told you earlier, the best utensil you have are your fingers. Come in, we're going to add a nice little serving of our Tropical Lowcountry Slaw. Look at there. How about that? Looks pretty good, doesn't it? Now, as our plate, we have Sesame crusted blackened red drum, Charleston sweet red rice, a little Tropical Lowcountry Slaw, and the Murray Cay Goombay Smash. Well, you know, weather isn't always perfect at Murray Cay, but you know, take a look at the plates here. It looks like the crew had a good time with it. And I tell you what, I hope y'all get yourself a couple of dozen Moomy-Chogs on your next trip out and give the sliding cork rig a shot. And also, hey, try out the menu. You know, it's not too terribly tough. The red rice is, yeah, it takes a couple of hours to cook, but I think it'll be definitely well worth the wait. So, hope to see you out here next time, and don't forget to make memories that'll last you a lifetime and take your kids fishing. We'll see y'all later. Gourmet Fishing is brought to you in part by Pioneer Boats, Salt Marsh Apparel, Murray Lawn Care Service, and Jetty Cricket. Using plain 25-pound monofilament leader material. If I was in Florida, fish on. Oh, I missed him. I felt. Shoot.